In this session, we're going to talk a little bit about resource scheduling that is inside of the projects module for Sage Intacct Construction. You do have to enable it in your configuration, but it does come with the system. And basically, using resource scheduling, you can do things like search for employees who possess the right skills. You can narrow searches to employees that are fully or partially available during requested timeframes or a particular location. You can assign a resource to a task, specific to their time commitment. You can let other people know. You can track out of offices. So when are people on PTO and unavailable? So there's a lot of different things you can do here. What you're going to be able to do is assign position and skills. So you're going to be able to set up your own position and skills list. And then you're going to be able to assign those position and skills to each individual employee in the system. So one of the first things you'll want to do is set up a list of skills and positions. I'm going to click the list right here. And I'm going to say include private because there's some setup at the entity level too. And this can be company specific. So if you have multiple entities and maybe you're only going to use the resource portion of this in one particular entity, you could just set it up in that entity. For my demo right now, I have it kind of set up in both places, but here's just some examples. And this is really just a list of different position and skills that you might want to set up and link to each individual resource or employee. And really, you're just clicking add, and you're going to define a name at this point and whether the skill is an active skill or inactive. So as you can see here, I set up some sample skills, SQL certified, but whatever your skill sets are that you're going to want to filter off of employees, you can fill that out in here as well. And then over in the employee setup, and I will go over to my GC company for this portion here. So you'll have the ability to come over to your time and expense, your employee setup here. And in your employee setup, you can see a list of employees here. You can see a hierarchy, which means, I can have employees that are managers of other employees. So you kind of see them indented here. And that means that Mike Baio is the manager for these employees. And Terry is the manager for this group of employees. So what you can do in here is you can go into edit. And inside the employee setup screen, there's some miscellaneous stuff you can set up, like employee types and who the manager is, which is right there. And then one of the things you'll notice is you can code them to a particular department. So if you have specific departments within your entities, and what entity or company is this employee tagged to. And you can track employee positions. So again, this is another list you can set up, but here's the skill sets that we saw a second ago. So I can link and say, Jimmy Franks is a certified engineer and an architect. And then this is where you can actually pull those skill sets in and code the employees to those skill sets. And there's some other information that you could establish cost rates that you can charge projects, and some reimbursement information if you're doing anything with expense allocations. And then one of the other things you can do is in the configuration of projects, you're going to have the ability to set some parameters up. So for example, if I go all the way up to the top here for a second, how do you want to track time, project and cost? How many number of workday hours are in there? Actually, I'm going to jump over to the top level for a second here. So you can see I can switch them here. So I want to track time by customer and item, by project and cost code, by project and item. So there's some different ways. And again, this can be specific to the company or the entity. What's my timesheet duration? Is it daily, weekly, every 2 weeks? And then as I scroll down here, you can have different things set up. I require notes. This is nice here for signing resources. So only allow entries. So if you have resources assigned to a particular cost code, you can actually not allow time entry if that employee is coding to a cost code that's not in that start and end date. So you can set up some parameters there as well. And then you can kind of see here, you can establish number of hours, requirements for work for weekdays and weekend days. And then what's the min, what's the max for your time entry screens. Okay. And then who could enter time and expense? So only users assigned to the project can enter time to that project. So, this can keep you from entering into a wrong project. And then what displays do you want to show during time entry? So you can fill all that out as well in the system. There's also timesheet approvals that you could turn on, and I can enable approvals, and then I can, set up my different levels of approvals here for time. So there's a lot of different configurations that you can see. And then you can see here we have project and resource management enabled, and that's what we're going to take a look at for now. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to click Save here. And I'm going to jump back over to my GC company. So we've set up positions and skills. One of the other things you'll see here is you do have the ability to put in out of office information. So I can, as a manager, I can enter in out of office for any employee who is underneath me as a manager or for myself. So the individual users can come into here and click Add. And you can see here I can assign my own out of the office or anybody else who's assigned underneath me and I'm the manager for. So I can say, Wayne, he's going to be on vacation in July from the 14th to the 20th. And, you can put it in PTO, etc. So you can fill these out here. And then that's going to come up when you're doing your resource scheduling. So we have some out of the office there. Okay, so what you're going to be able to do at this point now is you're going to be able to assign resources to the project and to the different cost codes within the projects. So I can come in and I can do this through here. I can go into project resources, or I can go directly into the project. So let's go into the project first. And let's say we're going to assign items for the Wegmans store here. So I'm going to click Edit. And you have a resource and pricing tab here. So within this resource tab, I can simply select the employees if I want to just do it manually. I could select the employees. You can have a particular item that they're working on if you want to track out multiple items that maybe you're billing through. A description, and then you could put a start rate. And then you can even store a labor billing rate here that can be used on a time and material invoice as well. But what you can do here is you can click on this resource search. And in here, you could do a search on available resources. So within Intacct, you're going to be able to establish different dimension groups, in particular employee groups, project groups, employee types, by manager, by location. So if you have employees in multiple locations, maybe just Dallas versus Houston, you could filter these searches on here. You can say, show me everybody from that location, or show me only people who are at least partially available and available from May 1st to May 31st. So you can do all this filtering in here. So I can say search. And if I scroll down, it found one individual who's partially available from Dallas. And Jose is 78% available. I can click on his schedule right from here. I can see, why he's not fully available. It looks like he has vacation from 5/13 to 5/17. Okay, so you can kind of see that from there. So, all right, we better expand it or leave off the location group. And maybe I just want to see employee types, or let's just do this. Let's see everyone who's partially available from 5 to 5/31. And I'm going to go ahead and click search again. And if I scroll down, now I have 2 individuals who are partially available. Or I can say, I want to see only individuals that are fully available. And I think you get the idea here. And now you'll see these are all the individuals that are fully available for that time period. Now, I probably would do this. The one thing I probably would want to do in my scenario, because I have multiple entities here, I'm just going to pick the GC company and do a search on that. And, that makes the list, more functional here. But what's nice is you can see the individual, the percent available, what department they are, who their manager is, all that information. And you could simply come into here and say, I want to grab Josh, Steve, and Dennis for this project. And once I do that, I can apply the selection. And now you'll see that those 3 employees are attached here to my project. And I'll click Save. And if I go back into the Wegmans store here again and go back to resource and pricing, now I can see resource schedules. And from here, I can maximize that. And you'll see there's my resources, and I can view my schedule from May 1st. And I can do a search on that. And so this is going to kind of show us, the schedule from there and so forth. So you can view that as you go. I can send an email, and I can say send an email to Dennis and send a reminder email that they're overbooked, and so forth. And you have an issue with the resource schedule, CC me, send an email out. Boom, and it'll send them a little reminder. So you can monitor people's resource scheduling if they're overbooked and things like that. And that's just for that project. So that's within the project. Now, you can get more specific here. What you'll notice is you also have cost code resources. So within the project, if you want to get more granular and assign them based on particular cost codes within the project, I could come into here and click Add. And let me take a step back here. Notice one thing you can do is you can also import. So you can actually import in your resource scheduling from an Excel spreadsheet. So you don't have to do this one at a time. You can do it from Excel spreadsheet and import it in automatically. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add though. And I'll pick the project. And let's say for Wegmans, and for this cost code, I'm going to assign, maybe design or whatever my particular cost code is for this project. This is going to be your project's cost code list. And I'm going to assign, of my 3 resources, I'm going to assign Steve to that. And I want him to start working on that the first day of May. And he's going to be on that through the 3rd. And I want him full-time booked. And then you could track, durations for that. He's going to be on there. That was 3 days. He's going to be there 24 hours. Okay. So I can assign that to Steve. And so you can assign that to Steve. Now I'm going to also, let's do the same thing, and I'm going to add myself to that. So I'm going to go back into my project here, and I'm going to assign myself to this project as well. So let's go into Wegmans, and I'm going to go to myself. And let's see, we're going to assign me the 6th, and that's fine. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I am going to assign me to a cost code resource. And again, you can import all of this. Wegmans store. And I'm going to put me on plumbing. And now I'm available. And I want to start that on the 6th to the 9th. Do a full book. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save that. So now what I can do as an individual is I can view my own schedule. So I can view my schedule. And now you'll see here, I have my schedule popping up right here. You can create your own views. So if I say, let's save a view as, let's just call it my view. And I can flip to that view, and you're going to be able to edit that and make your own edits. So what do I want to see? Actual end date. There's not many more options here for that, but you could sort it and different things like that. But let's go into here. And now I can see my end date as well. Okay. I can export that to Excel, Word, PDF, so you can bring that out into a schedule from there. What I can also do is see other main items like resource capacity. So I can come into here and get an overall look. And I can see right here, viewing schedule through May 31st. And I want to see for my employees that I'm the manager from, I want to see it all on here. And you can see now, I can see Jose is out of office that week. And I got myself booked on the 6th. I got Steve booked on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So you can track that. And then any one of these here, you can click on and see my overall schedule. Takes you back into here. Okay. And so forth. And then you could filter this out. So if I need to filter this out and say, show me everybody's overbooked, that's underneath me. And you'll see I have nobody overbooked. Okay, so you're going to be able to do that inside the resource capacity section. And let's just get back to the main screen there for a second. Now you can also come into here under projects, and we went into my schedule, went into out of office. You can do an overall resource search here. Overall, and this is kind of what we did before, but this isn't at a project basis where I can come in and just say, show me everybody who is fully available. I want to start planning for June. And I could say June to June 30th, and then only show me individuals that have the SQL certified skill. I can hit search, and there's 3 individuals, and they're 100% available. So now I can start getting them scheduled and booked in the system. Okay, so you can do that as well. You're going to have the ability to run reports, and I don't think I really have anything set up here at this time to show you, but you're going to be able to run reporting off of all of that inside the resource scheduling aspect. So what we're trying to get to here is this visual view of it. So for example, I can do this on a project by project basis. So if I come into my project and I see my Wegmans store, you'll notice on the right, you can get to your Gantt chart from here. So I can click Gantt chart, and it's going to show me my cost codes along with my resources. So I can see here that project coordination was one of them that I set up, and I assigned Steve. And you can see there's the start and finish. There's the estimated hours. It kind of shows right here. He's got no progress so far, and so forth. So I can see mine. I put myself to plumbing, and that's going to start on May 5th. And then I can see it on Dennis, and that's going to start there. So I can do this from a project by project basis. You can also do an overall one. If I go over to here and see summary Gantt chart, I can do one that shows all of the projects if I customize it, and I can filter by group. I can filter by customer, and so forth. So you'll be able to run these. But what's nice about this is over here on the left side, you can scroll back and forth. So you can come over to here and you can see estimated hours, observed percent, approved hours, all hours, actual start date. So there's some time I have in there just from playing around, not related to what we did. I'll go in and put some time in for these individuals, and you'll see that change. And then over here, you can see the life of the schedule. This job happens to be an old job, but I can move that back and forth, and you can customize and close it and so forth. So let's go and put some time in. I'll just put some time in for myself, and then we'll see how that shows up in the system. So let's get back to my main screen here, and we'll go from there. All right, so I'm going to go over here, time and expense, and I'm going to go into my timesheets, or you can enter in for your staff's timesheets too. So I'm just going to go into mine. I'll put some time in. What did I say? Yeah, we might as well use 5.5. And I'm going to put them into the Wegmans project. And I was working on the plumbing. And this wouldn't be a subcontract, but let's put a labor on this. But you can have your own. This is just for my own benefit here. Yeah, let's just use labor for now, just to make sure that we put something in here. This would all be set up for you already. And you can select multiple time types. That's up to you. But the reality is I'm just going to come here and say on Monday I had 2 hours, on Tuesday 5, and Wednesday 5, and those were all billable hours. And you would go through and fill your whole timesheet out. I'm just going to put this in just so we can see it on this job right here. At that point, you click submit. If you had approvals set up, it would then go into an approval process. Mine, I went right to approve time. Okay. So if we go back to that project, we should see that information on there now. So if I go over to here, run that. And now I can see down here, you'll notice I got some progress. I got 40%, 12 to 30 hours. And there's 2 lines here. So there is a cost line and a build line. So you can customize that as well. Down here, I'm saying cost versus budget. I just want to see this estimated hours here. So I'll turn that off. And then I'll refresh that. Okay. So you can see that there's my progress. And then if I slide that over, you should see some actual 12 hours there, right? That's kind of how that'll start working and progressing. And there'll be various reports on that as well. So that gives you a little recap of the capabilities of the resource scheduling in Sage Intacct for construction. Just take it for a grain of salt. I haven't spent a ton of time in this area, so I just wanted to get something out to you guys so you guys get an idea of what is capable of inside Intacct in the projects module that you're already going to have. So hopefully from there, we'll address any further questions you have as we go along here. So thank you for watching.